when life gives you the variety that it gives you, which causes you to launch a new desire. And once that desire has gathered enough momentum that you can actually receive it and put it into words clearly, I desire this, I want this, that desire has a lot of momentum already going. And for a number of reasons. Part of the reason is because you have launched it. But another big part of the reason that your desires get a lot of momentum going is because when you launch a desire, your inner being holds that desire in attention, and law of attraction responds then not just to the vibration that you are emanating, but the vibration that your inner being is emanating also. So it's an interesting thing, because while that is certainly to your advantage, because you have such a team of non-physical energy flowing in the direction of your desire, if you are not flowing in the direction of your own desire, then you cause resistance within you, which does not feel good at all. So the key to deliberate creation is really most important, we think, to understand it, to understand that you are a vibrational offerer, and that you offer your vibration because of the thoughts you think, and that law of attraction responds to the thoughts you think. But what most people do not understand, most people only believe that they have a relationship between where they are and what they want. Most people do not understand that they have this powerful relationship between what they think about what they want and what their inner being thinks about what they want. Do you realize that you are an extension of source energy? That's the place that we have to begin, because if you don't accept that you are an extension of source energy, and that that source energy part of you is aware of you, focused upon you, and offering a vibration about you to which law of attraction is responding, then you cannot understand why you feel the emotions that you feel. The emotions that you feel are about the harmony or the discord between the thought you are thinking right now in this moment about what's important to you, and the thought that your inner being is thinking about what you're thinking about. If you are looking out onto the landscape of your life and you are feeling appreciation and love, then you are in perfect sync with the mood and attitude and knowledge of your inner being. And the positive emotion that you would describe as love or joy or appreciation is your physical evidence. It's the reading of the vibrational meter, letting you know that you are in perfect vibrational sync with the source within you. But if you are feeling fear or anger or hatred, those are also indicators that you are offering a vibration, and the vibration is active, and law of attraction is responding to your active vibration. But the active vibration that your inner being is flowing about the same thing at the same time is different. Therefore, you are introducing resistance into the equation, which is showing up in the form of negative emotion. So we always ask you to take a little ride with us in order to understand how this all works, because unless you understand some important things, then nothing that you are observing, nothing that you are living, and nothing that you are feeling can make much sense to you. So we're going to be very brief. We know you've been listening to us for a while, but we just want to establish some things, and then we want to talk with you about whatever is important to you. So before you came into this physical body, you were non-physical consciousness. And many people accept that. It just makes sense that there was something before this. So part of that consciousness came into your physical body. And you know that is your personality. This is me, you say. But what most me's do not realize is that that larger non-physical part of them, that eternal part of you, still exists in non-physical form. And that while you are here as this personality, that there's another part of you that is vibrating and attracting and experiencing life. So as you are an extension of that, here you are with great purpose in being the extension of that. You are here to experience new variety in order to inspire new desires, because we are all eternal beings, and without something new to chew on, no new desires would be born, and no motion forward would happen. and the universe would cease to be. Now, of course, that can't happen. You cannot cease your exposure to life, and you cannot cease your exposure to contrast, because it will always be present. And from that contrast, you, powerful and important you, will come to a new decision, because you all you is selfishly focused. You cannot perceive other than through the eyes of self. So as you're living life, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, you're chewing on this and you're launching these rockets of desire. You as a powerful individual, and you as a collective consciousness, you're launching these rockets of desire. And when you do, your inner being becomes one with that new desire that life has helped you to achieve. So that new desire is born because of your observation of contrast. And it is what the evolution of all species is about. It's what eternity is about. So the contrast matters a lot. The contrast that produces the desire matters a lot. So step one of what we would call a deliberate approach to life is just going to cause you to ask for things. And that part doesn't feel all that deliberate to you, because you don't have to be deliberate to just be moving through life and observing and noticing and having your own opinion or perspective of what you prefer and what you don't prefer. That just happens. Step one just happens. You ask. And when you do, you offer a vibrational request that your inner being becomes. Now, that's the asking and the answering. That's step one and step two. But most of our human friends say, well, just because it's answered vibrationally, that doesn't really satisfy me, because I can't see that it has been answered. I want to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. I want to see the improvement that I've asked for. I don't want to just ask and take somebody's word for it that it has been answered. And we say that's where step three comes in. You must be a vibrational match to what you're asking for. And the majority of humans are a long time in coming round to being a vibrational match to what they are asking for. Instead, they're usually beating the drum of why they have asked. They're usually defending and justifying and rationalizing and explaining why what they want matters so much, because this they cannot bear. I cannot stand this, therefore I want this. But the interesting thing about that is, when you can't stand this, which means I can't stand it, I can't stand it, I can't stand it, I want this, you're not a vibrational match to what you're asking for. You're a vibrational match to what you can't stand. I can't stand this, I don't want this. So we've been explaining it in a new way recently. We've been saying, when life causes you to ask for something, it's like you are a train on a very flat track. In other words, you're not on a hill, there's no incline, you're out in a nice flat place. And when you ask for something, it's like putting an engine on that end of the train going that way. The end of the train that is the desire going that way. I want that, you say. And the reason I want it is because I don't want this. Well, when you're aware of what you don't want, then you put an engine on the other end of the train going the other direction. So now you have two engines pulling in opposition to each other, and you're not going anywhere. And you get pretty frustrated about that, because the more you don't go, the more you ask, and often the more you ask, the more you realize you're not going. And so you get a lot of stress going within you, and then it's always, almost always, by most human perspective, somebody else's fault. It's someone else's fault that I'm not going where I want to be. And this is the most important thing that we want you to understand. We want you to understand that it is not someone else's responsibility, it is your own. But sometimes it feels like it's someone else's doing. And the most common thing that you have said to us as we've been teaching you this process of deliberate creation, you say, Abraham, you say that I'm the creator of my own reality, but it's hard for me to accept that, because I do not want this, and I would not have created this. So since I have not created this, then someone else must have, and whoever it was bad, because I want not this. And we understand that it is at first hard to get your thoughts around the understanding that nothing is coming to you that you are not a vibrational match to. It's also important for you to understand that what you give your attention to causes you to offer a vibration. And when you offer a vibration, now your point of attraction is including whatever it is you're giving your attention to. So over time, by caring about how you feel, you can figure out in early subtle stages what you're doing with the engines of your trains. In other words, when you talk about what you want and why you want it, you plunk an engine down and then another. And when you think in terms of anticipation of how it will feel, you plunk another and another and another. But if you, in the early stages of flowing that energy, need a manifestation right now, and you look into the now reality for the manifestation that your heart desires, and you don't see it with your eyes or hear it with your ears, you don't find it with your physical senses, then what most humans do is they give their attention to the very absence of what they want, and in doing so they offer a vibration in contradiction to what they want, and then they don't move toward what they want. They just stand in frustration, in paralyzed frustration against what they want. It is our powerful desire that in the time that we are together today, that because of your heightened desire about whatever is important to you, that you find a way of coming into vibrational alignment with your own desires, because as soon as you do that, your own personal tension will subside, and you will personally begin moving immediately toward the manifestations that you seek. We like that you are physically focused, and we want to say to you, you came into this physical experience with great reason. We like that things turn into manifestations for you. We like you knowing that you are here to turn thoughts to things. We're not wanting you to get off into some spiritual meditation where you withdraw from life. We want you to be involved in life, but we want you to be joyously involved in life. And there is a way to do that under any and all conditions. So together we'll be exploring today anything that matters to you. We'll get you pointed toward the unconditional life experience that you must live in order to come into full alignment with who you are. We'll show you how to tune in, tap in, how to plug your toaster in to the electrical current of the universe. We'll show you how you are the creator of your own reality, and that while you have asked with step 1 and source has answered with step 2, that you can get into the receptive mode with step 3, and you can master it with step 4. And you might slip back into some contrast. We hope you do, because there is nothing more valuable than a steady understanding of who you are, creating your own reality, and then having exposure to experiences that take you back into more contrast, because that more contrast launches more rockets. And if you've already experienced step 1, not your work really, it is your work, but you don't have to know anything about your work, you can't help but ask. Step 2 is not your work at all. That's the work of source energy. That's us holding our attention upon what you've asked for, and law of attraction responding to that powerful asking. Step 3 is you find some way, even though what you want hasn't manifested yet, to hold yourself in the vibrational frequency of what you want, so that you've closed the gap between you and you. That's all you need to do to feel joyful. You've just got to close the gap between you and you. But if you need a circumstance to change before you close your gap, you're in a lot of trouble. But once you understand that you can close that gap, because you have the ability to focus in a way that allows you harmony with who you really are, well then, once you've mastered that, so you're feeling good most of the time, then contrast doesn't scare you. It doesn't beat you up. Contrast serves you in the way that you knew it would when you decided to come into this physical time-space reality. Not one of you said, I'll go forth but get everything just the way I and I alone like it before I get there, and once everything's the way I like it, then I'll come forth. Not one of you said that. You said, I'll go into this sea of contrast. From it I will choose what's important to me. I will wisely focus upon what is important to me until I master a steady stream of vibrational offering about it. I will deliberately establish my point of attraction by paying attention to the way I feel. And I, you said, we're here to remind you, will live happily ever after. Not because I achieve this manifestation and this one and this one and this one and this one. Not because a manifestation is just what I want and then I observe at it in my joy, a conditional love, but because I hold an image of what I desire, and I hold myself so close to that vibrational frequency that I cease the resistance within me, so that the universe converges and the cooperative components align in order to yield to me what is important to me.